If you're choosing to use baby-led weaning to introduce solids to your baby, you've probably already heard about the risk of choking. But there's some recent research, while not perfect, that indicated that the choking risk may be equal to that of other methods if the parents are educated on which foods pose a significant choking risk for babies and are therefore avoided. So in this video, I'm going to go through these high-risk foods to avoid if you're doing baby-led weaning. I'm also going to share one high-risk food that isn't a choking hazard, but should be avoided for babies under 1 year of age. Now, most of these foods are really common and may not seem like a choking hazard, like this first one, which is globs of nut butter. Nut butter is quite sticky, especially when given in large amounts. This makes it difficult for babies to move around in their mouths or swallow safely. At this stage, babies are still learning and developing their oral motor skills, so they might not have the necessary coordination to manipulate and break down the sticky paste. If a baby tries to swallow the nut butter without processing it properly, it could potentially get stuck in their throat. And because it's so soft, the nut butter can mold to the shape of their throat and block their airway, making it hard for them to breathe. To avoid this risk, the American Academy of Pediatrics suggests you thin out the nut paste with a bit of water or breast milk or formula or another liquid to create a smoother, more manageable consistency. You can then offer it to your baby as a spread on toast or as a dip for fruits and vegetables, and this will make it easier for them to handle and swallow safely. Raw apples and raw vegetables are another common food that is a potential choking hazard for babies. When you give your baby a slice of raw apple or raw vegetables, there is a high chance that they're going to bite off a large chunk using those front teeth. Now, this might not seem like a big deal, but your baby doesn't have their molars yet. And molars are the teeth we use to grind and break down large chunks of food into smaller, more manageable pieces. Without them, your baby can't break down those large chunks of apple or vegetables, which can lead to an increased risk of choking. So to safely feed your baby vegetables or apples, you need to make sure that you cook them first. To know if they're cooked enough, you can use something called the pinch test. And this is where you actually grab the cooked vegetable or apple and squeeze it between your forefinger and thumb. And if it smushes, it's soft enough to give to your baby. In addition to raw apples, whole grapes, blueberries, and cherry tomatoes also make the baby-led weaning blacklist, and there are several reasons for this. First of all, the small size of these fruits can make it really hard for babies to manage and place in their mouth, and that's because their fine motor skills are still developing. At this point, they're using their whole hand to grab food, so they don't yet have that ability to pinch that food and put it in their mouth. And because their fine motor skills are still developing, it's also really important to make sure that you're using developmentally appropriate cutlery, cups, and plates when introducing solids. If you'd like to see all the items I recommend, I've included a link in the description box to my free Mealtime Essentials guide that contains a complete list of age and developmentally appropriate utensils. Now, in addition to their size, the smooth and slippery surface of these fruits can make it hard for babies to keep a good hold of them. This makes it even more difficult to control these foods as they attempt to manipulate them in their mouth, increasing the choking risks. Another concern is the round shape of these fruits. This shape is particularly problematic because it closely matches the size and shape of a baby's airway. If a baby accidentally inhales one of these fruits while trying to chew it, it could become lodged in their throat, creating a potentially life-threatening blockage. And lastly, whole grapes, blueberries, and cherry tomatoes are all quite firm. And when I say firm, I mean that these fruits are solid and tough to chew or break apart with gums alone. Without a set of full teeth, babies have a lot of difficulty breaking them down, which increases the risk of choking. Now, this doesn't mean that babies can't eat these foods at all. As long as you prepare them safely, they are perfectly fine to give your little one. The key is to cut them up properly to reduce the risk of choking. And you can do that by cutting them lengthways and then into quarters or in smaller pieces. Cutting them in half might not be enough, as that size could still pose a choking risk. By cutting them into quarters or smaller, you're making them safer for your baby to eat. Next up are whole seeds and nuts, and there is a good reason for this. The small size and hard texture of seeds and nuts make it really difficult for babies to chew and break them down. At this age, babies only have their gums to chew with, which aren't strong enough to break whole nuts and seeds into smaller, safer pieces for swallowing. So babies might end up swallowing the nut or seed whole, and that's where things can get dangerous. The small size of these foods mean they're just the right shape to accidentally slip into the baby's trachea, potentially causing a choking incident. In addition to whole nuts and seeds, hot dogs are also a big one to avoid. Hot dogs are considered one of the most dangerous foods for babies due to their shape and texture, which can pose a severe choking hazard. The cylindrical shape of a hot dog is just the right size to block a baby's airway if they accidentally inhale or swallow it. This means that if a piece of hot dog gets lodged in a baby's throat, it can quickly become a life-threatening situation. Hot dogs are also difficult for babies to chew properly. The smooth outer skin of a hot dog is generally tough and slippery, making it difficult for babies to break it down and manipulate it in their mouths. This also increases the risk of them swallowing or inhaling large chunks accidentally. The next food on the list isn't because of the risk of choking, but rather the potential life-threatening illness it can cause if given to a baby under 1 year of age. Honey can contain spores of a bacteria which can produce a toxin that can cause a serious and potential life-threatening illness called infant botulism. Infant botulism is a rare but serious condition that affects infants under 1 year of age, and it occurs when the spores of this bacteria grow and produce a powerful neurotoxin within the baby's immature digestive system. The symptoms of infant botulism can include constipation, weakness, poor feeding, a weak cry, difficulty breathing, and in severe cases, paralysis. Because honey can contain these spores, it is not recommended for babies under 1 year of age, including those following the baby-led weaning approach. While I've covered foods in this video, ensuring your baby's safety while eating also involves making sure that they are well supported in their high chair. However, many high chairs are designed for larger children and can be too big for babies, which can lead to discomfort and distractions while eating. To keep your little one comfortable and safe during mealtimes, it's crucial to adjust the high chair to fit their size and height. This can help them focus on the important task of eating, reducing the risk of choking and promoting healthier eating habits in the future. So be sure to check out this video next, where I show you how to customize your baby's high chair to get the perfect setup. Even if your high chair is too big or not ideal in terms of ergonomics, you can usually solve it using everyday items found around your home. With these tips, you can make mealtime safe, comfortable, and enjoyable for your little one.